Can you imagine if Taylor Sheridan got Robert Redford to play John Dutton? We may have missed out on an awesome alternate version of the show. And guess what? There's plenty more like him that didn't make the cut. Here's 4 actors who almost starred in Yellowstone. Number 4. Robert Redford. There's a universe somewhere out there that features him as the main lead. I'm sure of it. Kevin Costner's brilliant, and he nails the, pardon the pun, tough as nails patriarchal role. But a part of us wishes that we saw the young buck from Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid take on the character. Unfortunately, though, something weird happened. So, back when Taylor was pitching the series to studios, he approached HBO with a simple goal: get the show made and have Costner star in it. What could go wrong, right? But when he went to the executives with his idea, they said they greenlight it only if he got Redford to say yes. They didn't want Costner, and yikes. Anyway, what happened next was even stranger. When Taylor met Redford and convinced him to join the series, he called HBO and said he's down to make it happen. They replied, "Who's down to do what?" He said, "Robert Redford's down to do Yellowstone." And you want to know what they said in response? Well, we don't want him. We just wanted a Robert Redford type. Wow! This didn't make sense to either Taylor nor Yellowstone co-creator John Linson. They needed to get things fixed and greenlit for their show. And to get to the bottom of the whole deal, they met with a senior VP from HBO to clear out the air. When Linson asked what went wrong, the VP said, "We're HBO, we're avant-garde and need new ideas all the time. But this Yellowstone deal feels like a step backwards. Nobody should be living in Montana. It should be some kind of park instead." And get this, they also wanted Taylor to tone down Beth. Imagine Beth Dutton, the badass who speaks her mind and isn't afraid to fight anyone or anything, toned down. Not very avant-garde, eh? Well, we should thank the universe that Paramount said yes, 'cause otherwise, we wouldn't have gotten such an epic Western. Robert Redford would have been a plus, though. Just saying. Number 3. Sam Elliott. Roping him in for 1883 was a genius move, and not because he's got a well-oiled voice that could jumpstart a Ford Bronco. Back in 1993, he starred in an epic war film about Gettysburg that won him a lot of praise. Give it a watch and you'll know exactly why he's the only choice to play Shea Brennan. The actor has a lot of love for Sheridan's work. Before they met, Sam saw his work on Sicario and Sons of Anarchy. He was genuinely impressed by him and says he's a genius of sorts. So when we tell you that he hates the idea of starring in Yellowstone, you know I'm serious. He didn't mince words when it came to talking about the series. In fact, he thought it was way too similar to Dallas, an iconic Western drama that hit CBS back in 1974. So yeah, when Taylor called him and talked about Yellowstone, he passed on the offer. Fans were understandably upset about this. It didn't make sense that a character actor like him would say no to a fantastic drama like Yellowstone. After all, he did play Bo Bennett in The Ranch. Granted, it's a sitcom, but all the same. But a few people totally get where he's coming from. In the words of a Reddit user named Da Better Lick My Dog, Yellowstone's a soap opera for men. A lot of fans agree with this, and they say that Sam comparing it to Dallas isn't wrong. It really is a lot like it, especially in the family dynamics and the cinematography. But if Sam's not a fan of the series, why'd he sign up for 1883? Well, after he turned down Yellowstone, he and Taylor got to talking. One thing snowballed into another, and he signed on to play Shea. Fans fell in love with his performance, and honestly, the show is better for it. But Yellowstone still left a bad taste in his mouth. The problem is, you can't look at 1883 without thinking about Yellowstone. It's a prequel, so of course it's going to be compared to its big brother every time it's mentioned. And this, according to Sam, is a tainting of 1883's spirit. Don't know about you, but we understand where he's coming from, especially since it was one of the most physically challenging roles he's ever done in his career. But hey, we're just glad he's in it. Number 2. Cody Johnson. We can already see Tim McGraw, Faith Hill, and Cody hosting an unscripted concert for the cast and crew of 1883. And if Taylor had his way, we would have had 3 brilliant country music stars in 1883. But he didn't reject the offer because of senior VPs or his disinterest in Yellowstone. He did it because he couldn't cut his concert tour short. That's right. He focused on his musical career and gave us hits like Long Live Cowgirls and On My Way to You. But he regrets rejecting Taylor on his offer. If he got another chance to play a bad guy, he'd be game for it. And guess what? He did get another chance. After 1883, Taylor offered him a role on Yellowstone. There's no information on who he would have played or whether it was an anti-hero or villain, but he had to say no yet again. Jeez, you don't get unlimited chances with Taylor, Cody. Then again, it's understandable why he couldn't make it. He was still busy with his music and couldn't carve out the time needed to film the show. We think he'd make a fantastic addition to the Yellowstone universe. Playing a bad guy when he's the complete opposite in real life would subvert the expectations in the right way. He told Taylor that if he's planning something Yellowstone related a year ahead of time, then he'd do whatever it takes to star in it. And if you ask us, we think it's a huge possibility. 1, 'cause Taylor genuinely wants to make things work with him. 2, he really likes Cody's music and wants to use it in one of his future projects. We'd hate to live in a world where we're deprived of that collaboration, so here's hoping they make it happen. Number 1. Ethan Lee. He might not have the star power that Costner does, but he's one of the reasons why Yellowstone feels so authentic. He's got real-life experience as a rodeo trick rider and a cowboy. And this exceptional talent led him to a career as a stunt performer in shows like NCIS, New Orleans, Roots, and of course, Yellowstone. Paramount wanted to hire him to oversee a cowboy boot camp of sorts. You know, teach the cast how to properly and safely ride a horse, how to wrangle him, how to behave responsibly around him so they don't kick you in the chest, stuff like that. But get this, he initially turned down Paramount's offer, and it was supposed to be a short 6-month stint, too. All he had to do was head to Montana and help the crew out. But he didn't want to leave his kids. It's a totally different reason from what I've talked about before, and it's one of the most human responses an actor could have. His kids were really small, so he didn't want to miss the chance to watch them grow. And then he instantly regretted saying no. Honestly, we get that too. Taking care of kids is a huge responsibility, and it's respectable to say no, of course. But he also felt like he missed out on a huge opportunity for his career. Especially since Yellowstone went on for multiple seasons and became hugely popular with audiences. Sometimes you just can't have it both ways, you know? He told his wife that if Paramount offered him the chance again, he'd jump at it. This was back in 2018 when the show had just started production. A while later, Paramount decided to give it another shot, and he immediately said yes. He got an uncredited role in the first season, but his role on the show grew from there. What was supposed to be a 2-week job where he'd do a quick boot camp and leave turned into a 5-season gig. Taylor slowly increased his character arc in the show, giving him his first on-screen role in Season 3 and a whopping 10 episodes in Season 4. And it's safe to say that fans really liked Ethan's character, who's unsurprisingly also named Ethan in the show. He got the Yellowstone brand at the end of Season 3, and the rest's history. Now that's a good ending. Let us know in the comments which actor you'd have loved to see in Yellowstone and why. And make sure to tap like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more.